Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Afol Man Emery here, and I got the Mario sculpture done. Check it out in all its glory. Now this thing is a beast. Before the video's over, we are going to weigh it. So if you have any ideas what you think this thing might weigh, comment down below and we'll see if you're right at the end of the video, and I'm going to measure it and everything. But as I said in the video prior to this, I didn't build this on my own. I did buy instructions. So there's other people out there who have built this before, and the instructions were like $10. Oh, they were $10, not like $10, but I don't know if they still are. I'll put a link down in the description so you can check it out. But I wanted to do a video before I zoom in at it in all its glory, kind of breaking down the cost, because I know some of you guys out there are kind of interested in how much this costs, and yeah, I'd say I did it pretty cheap. Because they give you a parts list. Now, it's not a parts list where you can just upload it to BrickLink. You kind of have to go in and manually do it. But the reason I say it because I bought off, I think, Build Better Bricks, where I bought the Bowser. If you guys haven't seen the Bowser, I'll put a picture out here. But that, you could just upload that right to BrickLink and it would tell you all the pieces you need. But this one, which is pretty cut and dry, right? Blue, gray, yellow, and a little bit yellow, more brown. But so it basically calls for just standard bricks, obviously. But where the cost can get expensive if you're buying all the pieces it suggests is by buying like 2x8s, 2x6s, because those in blue, red, and any color can get expensive, especially when you need hundreds of them. Because that's what this calls for. And I did it cheap, like I said, because I didn't make it as solid on the inside, and I kind of did little tricks to get away from using so many bricks on the inside, which I'll get into here in a second. But let me just break it down how much some of this is just me guessing, but I can tell you I did 3 BrickLink orders. That's it, 3 BrickLink orders. And all 3 of them had free shipping if you spend a certain amount of money, like I think one would spend 100, you get free shipping. The other would spend 50, you get free shipping. And so I actually ordered from one store twice, which was Brick Frames, and another store once. And so those 3 orders was a total of $335. And that was a total of about 4,200 bricks. And then I pulled probably about $50 worth of bricks out of my store. And then I pulled like, in that $50, I pulled like a lot of this 2x4 pink, 1x2 pink. I pulled all the ones I had, just kind of for filler. Because the instructions for this call to use the same colors, like blue, red, tan, throughout the whole build, through the inside. And once I got the outside layer done, I just used filler brick and stuff on the inside. Oh, another thing I will say, that one order from BrickLink that was a large one, like $160, I did get used Lego with that. And typically I wouldn't do that just because, sometimes some of that stuff is just trash. People sell it as used, but it was so discolored, you could only use it for filler. And that's what I did. I made sure I had a good lighting out here, and any brick that, was on the front, I tried to use new. But if I couldn't, I made sure I looked at it and made sure it was new looking, and then I used it. But most of the used stuff I try to use as filler in the middle, because like I said, some of it's just trash, and you don't want to, especially with I probably, where I made a mistake was getting any used white, because white, it can discolor really easy, and some of it, kind of is discolored. I don't know if you can tell here on camera. Another thing that where I kind of shortcut, but I kind of regret it, was like on the inside of the white, I would use, blue, pink, whatever. And at some angles, if you're really looking, you look in between the cracks, you can kind of see it's not white on the inside. But, that's just a pet peeve. Most people aren't going to notice that like I do. But, for the most part, you can get away, I think, with just using the standard colors around the outside. Another thing that I did that, because I have a BrickLink store and I have a lot of pieces myself, that's another thing. I'd say most people who are going to do this probably should have a good bank of your own bricks to use, because I didn't want to order more pieces off BrickLink, and I wanted to just try to get it going. So like a lot of times when it would call for like a corner brick, like a 2x2, whatever, corner brick, or would it be I guess that's a 2x2 corner brick. I'm not sure what you call it. But I would use like plates, 3 of them stacked up. And for the head or the hat, I used a lot of red plates for that. I think I probably took about 200 out of my store just to stack them up and make, the corner brick, because I didn't have any. And another thing I did do was, if it called for a corner brick, I'd use like a 1x2 and a 1x3 and kind of make a corner, and then you kind of have to build around that to make sure you keep the solid outside frame. So sometimes it was just easier to use plates to stack them up. Now another thing, like I said, I'll put some pictures here on the screen. A lot of times it's not solid brick on the inside, but it would call for like a solid brace, basically bricks all the way across, all the way up, bricks all the way this way, all the way up. You can imagine that's a lot of bricks inside there. So what I would do is I would take base plates, or not, 18 by 18 base plates, stack 3 of them up, or stack 1 with some other plates in it, and then another base plate on top, or 18, base, not necessarily a base plate, I keep saying it, but an 18 by 18 plate. So that makes like a pretty, good size gap. Kind of put that in the middle and then build off of that. So that way it's not solid bricks. I don't know, I'll put pictures here so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So that was one thing I did. Now overall, I think it's really solid. Now, I don't know, I would never try to ship it. I think it would probably implode. And it's so heavy and so big that it'd be really hard to fix. I will say, the only time I kind of messed up when I was doing the hands, I'd be pushing down on the brick, and at some point I pushed the whole hand off, and I did that on both sides. But it wasn't too bad to be able to get it back on there. But once it gets to this point, it'd be more difficult, because you're building up. You start at the bottom. I can't remember how many, I think it's like, I'll have to look, but it's like maybe 70 bricks tall. And so another spot where I kind of cut corners and I kind of had to go back and fix was in the feet, because I didn't have a lot of brown brick. So what I kind of did was made them more hollow, just kind of, and I would use like, what is it, like a 1x2 by like 6, like a panel piece, and I'd put those up to kind of give it some stability. I kind of did that throughout the whole thing. There's a lot of panel pieces kind of building up to get the height, so you don't have to stack a bunch of bricks up. And as I'll show you here in a second too, I have quite a bit of bricks left over. I think I try to make sure I only had new bricks left over so I could put them in my store, maybe recoup some of my money here. But so once I would get to a certain point, like when I was done with brown, which I kind of forgot about his hair, I would start using brown as filler. And then once I got past blue, and I knew I was only going to need a little bit of blue for the eyes, I would start using the extra blue I had as filler up here. And then when I got to the hat and I had a bunch of tan left, I would use the tan as filler too. Because I'll be honest with you, I completely used up pretty much every brick I had that was just sitting in drawers. Or I even went into my son's room and pulled out his drawers full of bricks and used every 2x4, every 1x4, 1x2. And another thing, I completely took down the police station in the city, and I pretty much used every piece out of that, whether in the hands, but really mainly just as filler brick. The 1x2, 1x1 white, a lot of that is inside here is filler brick. So the city has no police station right now. So let me kind of give you a complete total. Now this is like an estimate. So I had $335 in BrickLink orders, $10 for the instructions, roughly about $50 taken out of my store, and roughly probably about $55, $60 worth of bricks, like the police station, extra parts, and really it might have been more than that, but I'm just kind of, you know, spitballing it here. So I put the rough estimate for the whole build right around 450, maybe 500. Definitely probably under 500. But so I feel really good about that because, like I said, if you were to do it with the pieces it calls for, it would probably cost you about $1,000, maybe more, because it's ridiculous. It's like about 7,000 pieces, a lot of 2x8s, 2x6s. I had a few 2x8s, 2x6s that I had myself that I put in it, but for the most part, if it called for a 2x8, I used a 2x4, you know, two of them, or a 2x4 and a 2x6, or 2x4 and a 2x2 to make a 2x6. So I did that a lot throughout the whole thing, and I think it still keeps the stability. I will say some areas where you it's nice to have some red, like 2x8s is the hat, because you kind of build out. You got to have that 2x8 and then you build above it. So what I did was I just put a 2x4 built up above it, and then I came back and put another 2x4 up underneath it, just kind of holding from below. But for the most part, I think you can kind of cheat it, but you have to just calculate. You got to go. It calls for how many 2x8s, and then divide it, and so on and so on. But you know, if you are into something like this, I think it can be done for under $500, especially if you have your own bricks. And you know, find stores like I did that had free shipping, and you want to be able to. You got to put those parts in your wanted list, and then it will take you to a store that has the majority. I don't know if you're not familiar with BrickLink, and I'm not sure how it works on BrickOwl, but if you do not have a BrickLink, you're not familiar with it, you might hold off and try to do something smaller, because you got to be able to save money. Otherwise, you could hit like 30, 20 stores, and each one's got to have shipping, and it could get real expensive real quick. But now let's go ahead, like I said, let's measure it. We'll do a little close-up on it, and then I'll put it here on the scale and see how much it weighs. Alright, so I put the Mario Maker fig on top. Sorry for the sound, I have no mic out here. But there you go, in all its glory. I think it looks so cool. Now this figure here, this like 3DS holder, or DS holder, I think that's about 12 inches tall. So this, you see what I'm talking about with the white there? Let me see, focus. You can kind of tell it's not white under, but I mean, when you're looking at it like this, you're not gonna see that. But that's one area I kind of wish I would have put more white back in behind there, like in there, stuff like that. And kind of going back to what I said about moving it, I would feel comfortable putting it in a box and taking it to display somewhere, but like I said, I wouldn't ship it. See, here's what I was kind of talking about with the plates. I don't know if you can kind of see it here. You see, that's a lot of plates stacked up, like right there. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, I think you can. I mean, I wish I would have had a bunch of corner plates in red, but I mean, this is about a month project. You know, and I didn't work on it constantly, but on and off. I roughly estimate about 40 hours it took to build this. Let me see. I'm going to get my tape measure here. So this is, yeah, it's about 12 inches tall. So let me take it all the way up here. We get it looks, yeah, it's probably, I'd say 30 inches. 30 inches tall. And let me put you on the tripod, and I'll put him on the scale. I got my bathroom scale out here, so let's do that. Alright, so I got it on camera if he implodes when I go to move him onto the scale. Now the way I moved him before, if you can see me, was I kind of grabbed him right in the front and back. That's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to get the scale right spot. Let's see here. He is heavy. Wow. Okay. So it says he weighs about 21 pounds. Let me get you here. So here we go. It says about 21 pounds. You can see that. That's what I'm going with. My scale's all scratched up from where it gets stored. But there he is. I will say, for 21 pounds, it feels much heavier than that when you're picking it up. It's so top heavy. And like I said, I didn't use as many bricks as it calls for, but in some instances I actually used probably more because I used 2x2s and whatever. So let me see. I don't know if I said this, but I'm going to put the rough estimate of the amount of bricks is on here. Now this is a rough estimate. Because BrickLink order parts was about 4,200 pieces. I'm estimating about 800 pieces of my own. So I'm putting in about 5,000 pieces. So about $500, about 5,000 pieces, probably about 40 hours worth of work. I will say it's a lot of times you're just counting the studs to make sure you're not getting off. I kind of got off on the feet, but I figured I didn't care because I could straighten it out as I got higher. But there you go, guys. If you want to build this, I'll put a link in the description for the instructions. And good luck and have fun building it. I think it looks awesome. I think, for now it's going to go here. I don't even think I could even dream about putting this in one of my IKEA Detolf, whatever cases, the glass case. It won't fit. Initially, I thought about putting it up against the wall over there on the shelf, but it's so deep. The hat. Let me see. Where's my tape measure? Let me just look. From the back of the hat. From the back of the hat to the front of the nose is about 18 inches. So it really wouldn't go up against the wall. And I had my Bugatti, the Technic Bugatti sitting here. So I moved it. I got it hanging on the wall there. And I got Mario sitting here. Let me real quick show you the leftover pieces I got. I forgot about that. So this is what's left over. Just not a lot. There's a couple bags of 2x2 reds, some 1x3 browns, 2x2 blue, and some more blues, and that's it. That's all I got left. So that's pretty good, really. If I would have ordered more, here's the Bugatti. That's what I was talking about. If I would have ordered more, I would have had a lot more left over. So let me go back over here. So as I was saying, if I would have ordered more of the pieces, I probably would have ended up with more. But for me, I can just put it in my BrickLink store, so it's not a big deal to have a bunch of bricks left over. And I mean, you're always going to use Lego bricks. So let me know what you guys think. Give me a thumbs up. I will tell you, I'm going to start working on the city again. It's in shambles right now, but look for another video in the next couple days. I might get motivated and shoot something right now while I'm out here. But again, guys, hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. I'm still alive. I'm still building. Let me know what you're building. Talk to you later. Bye. Bye, Mario.